Borderlands has a unique arsenal, some that even change up the entire game's playstyle. A notable one being the Tediore weapon line. Tediore guns not only fire like the traditional gun, but explode when out of ammo instead of reloading, allowing you to blow your enemies in between firing your guns.
Oh, come on, it was a joke,
Today we will be putting Tediore weapons up to the task as we answer a question no sane person has ever asked. Can you beat Borderlands 3 using only Tediore reloads? No one has ever asked this question because if they did, they'd be equivalent to the nightmare fuel that is the thumb race from the Spy Kids movies. But before I show you my award-winning NFL throws, let's set a few rules. Rule 1. Only Tediore explosives are allowed and nothing else can be used to hurt my enemies. Rule 2. No legendary class mods or shield mods will be allowed, alongside any legendary Tediore weapons. Rule 3. I want all of you to grab your Rainbow Corn Series 2 The Ultimate Surprise Egg and Harry Potter Lego sets I know you all got for Christmas, and join me as we crusade and become the conquistadors of explosive fun and happiness, because we are now a family-friendly YouTube channel. Gently grope that like button, and if you enjoy, maybe even tickle that sub button. But most importantly, saddle up, boys. Will I be able to spank the Rampager? Will we be able to V-Buck scam Tyrene? Let's find out. So instead of a traditional start this run, I have decided that we need a little bit of spice in our lives. We will be doing a True Vault Hunter playthrough. True Vault Hunter mode basically gives all of our enemies a scat fetish. They are considerably more powerful and are made to completely shit on you. Our precious Russian mama, Mose, will be the go-to pick this run, as she is literally god tier at blowing dudes. Her tree is built around explosives. Mose and explosives is basically synonymous to disappointment and season 2 of One Punch Man. So Mose and this run will work perfectly together. I made sure to grab a purple tier Tediore weapon before I started my run and then began. At this point, naming my character was of utmost importance. She was named in commemoration of a man that has given me great hope and has a white blood cell count of 5,000. It was time to test this bad boy out. Unfortunately, in the Borderlands, there is only one way to make a Tediore weapon go boom boom. At least one round has to have been shot in order to trigger the special reload. So for the entirety of this run, I'll be shooting the floor to expend a bullet and then throwing the weapon directly afterwards. In other words, this was going to suck some seriously filthy skag asshole. But hey, I do this so you guys don't have to. 10,000 kilograms of straight up domination and explosions. Listen, your boy Snacksa can probably throw a pigskin 300 yards without even being warmed up, baby. Imagine what I could do with the Tediore weapon. I, fortunately, have unlocked the hidden chi and throwing power behind quarterback Dan Marino, so this was going to be an absolute breeze. Except for when, I was fighting Shiv and yeah, that was my grandma playing, missing all those throws, whoo, like get off my game, Gran. Shiv took a couple of tries to take down, but goddamn, I was harder than calculus at this point. But I was immediately triggered when I saw that Lilith was watching some idiot hot dog obsessed peanut brain. Vaughn needed to be saved and this was completely fine to me. Such an easy task for the likes of my epic gaming capabilities. The bandits defending their captive, they blew up faster than a poorly done black market Chinese boob job. My main goal at this point was to get 4 different Tediore weapons, each a different gun type. Little ol' Senza here, having only one though, led him to getting absolutely pounded. And to top off the ice cream, another dingleberry in my butt cheek was the fact that every reload consumed almost 10 rounds. Remember this, because later on, this will be very important. Vaughn was back at his little mommy's house and now it was time to hit up our queen, our savior, Ellie. While helping Ellie solve her vehicle problem, I was faced with our first purple thick boy, aka Thanos, aka Cringe Twins failed incest abortion, also known as Anointed. I was getting absolutely manhandled. Not only was there a Thanos here, but also a badass enemy. So I did what any brave and noble warrior would do and killed them effortlessly, without a bead of sweat trickling down my nutsack. It was now time to do something I haven't done in a while. I'm actually quite ashamed of myself. In many countries, I would probably be beheaded or castrated in public for treason. Many of you may be asking, what is this decrepit deed that you have done? That is, getting Claptrap his teat hat. If I catch any of you not doing this in your playthroughs, whew, I'm telling mom, and I'm telling her you ate all the fruit roll-ups too, you little fucking bitch. Why did I add that in? It was time to go show Mouthpiece some of this explosive love. Getting to him was actually a dilemma, as always. The enemies here were just straight up blowing my butt cheeks open. They were all the same level as me, but for some reason dealt some fatty damage. I'm talking RuneScape Drygore Longsword damage, and we all know that shit is fatter than Ellie's ass. Fortunately, I was able to blow them all up like I do my sex doll every night, and it was now time for the first boss fight. This fight actually didn't turn out to be Raid Shadow Legends, and yes, that means means what you think it meant, and we are so going to make this a thing. For those that have 3 skag turds for a brain, I'm saying that this boss fight wasn't shit. Running around the arena and throwing my Chuck E. Cheese goodie bags of explosives was all I needed to take him down. After killing Mouth Turd though, is where I failed this challenge. A little someone named Ellie, which many of you probably know of, wanted me to romance her vehicle with a couple of skulls and intestines, thus forcing me to kill enemies without Tediore reloads. This was imperative to progressing the storyline. Go ahead and tweet or email me how big, mad, and furious you are. Maybe even send me a pic of your feet too. I mean, that would be pretty cool. This all didn't matter though, because your boy has the fucking god hand. Getting cross-map Tediore revives, god damn! I can now pretend I was on the high school football team I tried out for 14 times but never made once. Milady was saved with a couple of Hall of Fame football throws, and the Diaper Booty Gang was now in space. Your little ass conquistador Senza was ready to bring this tidal wave of explosions and chiseled jawlines to Promethea. Unfortunately, little Miss Thickums didn't want me peeking, but that's okay, because down here on Promethea, I was literally blessed by twerking Thanos himself. Forged by only the greatest gunsmiths this universe has to offer, God and his holy son Mornell from that really poorly made scene in Spy Kids 3D Game Over has blessed me with the best gun in the entire game. This Tediore weapon, when exploded, turned into 3 other smaller grenades. This gun's big boom got me from 0 to 60 big sperm in a matter of seconds. Helping Lorelei find the info she needed was never so damn easy. No joke though, this gun was going to make this run 10 times easier. But before we continue onwards, let's discuss the plan, gentle boys and girls. Operation My Dad's Girlfriend Made Him Take Off His Wedding Ring and Told Him to Move On So I Shit in Her Coffee Cup the Next Morning is now in full effect. This will be a challenging one to say the least, boys. But after all, we have come this far, and I know that we are more than ready for what awaits. Picking Mose was going to make this run even remotely viable, so at least we had that now in the bag. Her blue tree is built around explosives, and guess what, you cute little amino acids? Tediore weapons count for that too. Fondling that blue tree and maybe even having a little affair with it will enable you to deal more damage, incendiary damage, and even the ability to gain health on every explosion. All we need to do is practice our aim, which isn't a problem because I've been training for months for this very challenge. Even immersing myself studying every day to make sure I had this all in the bag.
Damn, girl. Show me what them toes do.
What the? Let's go.
With this new weapon, I was straight up juicing ass cracks left and right, and for once, saving Reese at the watershed wasn't a pain in my rear. After a bit of jaw-japping with Reese, I was forced to go find his boyfriend, and I was out of there faster than my dad was on my birthday. On my way to Zero, I was blowing through these troops like the high school whore. This shit wasn't a joke. I felt like I was almost cheating. My skills synergized so well with my methodical throws that I could probably be mistaken as an all-star Olympian. Zero and I met up and we got to work, collabing on taking a few bots out of commission. This wasn't no Weenie Hut Jr. shit. I literally fucked these bots so hard, one of them Team Rocket blasted off again on my ass. The rest of the Malawan soldiers were doomed to horrendous deaths sentenced by my Tediore reloads, and as always, the bomb has been defused. Counter-terrorist why does this always happen? Zero got his Legend of Zelda Minish Cap Force Sword upgrade, which, if you actually know what that is, I absolutely love you, and it was time to get some brain. Honestly, the fight with Giga Chad was quite embarrassing. I literally creamed his ass cheeks with a couple of reloads, and this man was a goner. Or, I mean, he's not actually a man, I don't know what he is, but he was a goner. That's all that mattered. After getting his brain and giving it to Big Idiot, I decided I was going to remove my shield for the rest of the run. Not only will this make things more challenging, but it would allow me to practice for my Guitar Hero controller and no shield only run I plan to do soon. On Athenas, I encountered something odd. Gerald, this Athenian inhabitant here that just so happens to face the joys of death every run, did not die like he normally does, which is a problem because I like him dead. But I took this as a testament to the great power that I now held in my hands. I made it to Maya after a couple of deaths, and as always, I daydreamt of her phase locking into my computer mainframe and editing this video for me, which in turn leads to me breaking the fourth wall between my videos and my viewers. Right, future Senza?
Oh, yeah, dude.
Insert some sort of Ava is a terribly written character joke here, and maybe a euphemism or two about clapping a butt cheek. And now it was time for Trant. At this point with my build, I felt unstoppable, but I was a little worried. I know that my damage was tighter than a straight man going to jail, but only being able to damage him with reloads and having no shields was worrying me. But I've been practicing. I've been playing Backyard Football 2002, so I was ready for this fight. Within 60 seconds, Taint's boners were mincemeat. I shit you not, I actually demolished him without even trying. Moze and Tediore are literally a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Governments are soon going to replace conventional weaponry and just use this setup from now on in their militaries. Watching him go down brought tears of joy to my eyes and helped ameliorate and forget the fact that I was angry Dragonite wasn't in the new Pokemon game. I was now informed by Reese that he was calling in his V card, which was fine by me because I was going to Uno reverse card him afterwards. Katagawa, his arch nemesis, had an asteroid mounted laser beam and he was straight up unloading his ass on Reese. The Skywell was as you would expect. I absolutely enjoyed every second of it and it was great fun. Haha. Yes, this is so fun. Ha. This shit got me wetter than Splash Mountain at Disney World. Woo! That was sarcasm, by the way. This shit had me drier than SpongeBob when we thought he was going to die in the SpongeBob movie. I was met with the sad realization that one day we will all soon die and no amount of hair on your chest or inches on your wiener is going to stop that. How did I come to that realization? I wasn't a god anymore. The enemies at this point in the game were actually catching up to me. I wasn't one-shotting them with my Tediore reloads and this was leading me into a state of depression. It now took a couple of throws to even kill one of them. And please don't even get me started on those disgusting, obnoxious little turds that are basically flying robo-testes. I fought the turbo testy that is Katagawa Ball and I think it took a try or two, but it was a lot easier than I thought. I kept lugging my handheld explosive devices at him, and thanks to my well-defined and absolutely masterful calculations, I was able to hit every throw. This arm is award-winning, and Katagawa Ball attempting to face me was just a way to speedrun dying within a matter of seconds. With the testy dead and gone, Katagawa was next, and I made haste to Atlas HQ. Making my way through the HQ, I enjoyed the quick spankings I got, and I know my enemies did also. A tidal wave of relief swept over me when I saw that Mikey, the brave and courageous Atlas soldier, was still there standing his duty. This lit a fire in my ass and for real turned my panties into a full-fledged water park. Just knowing that he was still alive gave me the strength I needed to take on Katagawa. The fight transpired and the true MVP of this bad boy were the homing Tediore missiles that I had. I hated this fight with all of my being. It was monotonous and gave me a headache, but I'll tell you now, not even an army of Twitter K-pop stans could take on my barrage of homing Tediore missiles. Katagawa was dead as hell, my brothers and sisters, and this gave me a couple extra inches on my chest hair, just enough to be able to enter the cool club and take down our first Volt Beast. It was time to fight the creature the Iridian sealed away in a vault for many years. At first the Rampager was fine. Maya threw in her usual dose of nothing and I was actually kind of popping the heck off. The Rampager was horny and in heat, but that wasn't going to happen on my watch because as a proud member of the Horny Patrol, shit! This was where the lack of ammo was starting to catch up to me. A problem I really didn't think of too much. I was running out of ammo before I could even get the Rampager to half health. This led to me dying and losing 30 minutes of my already useless life. I still have a chance, baby. Are you actually fucking kidding me?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
But you know what? They say the hardest part of a vegetable that can be consumed is the wheelchair. So I clamped on my nipple tassels and got to work. I fought valiantly and effortlessly. Me having no shields really made me poo myself multiple times, but god damn it, I had a goal, and I was going to get my head in the game. High School Musical style. God, Troy was so fucking hot. After a bit of praying to Troy, I got the job done. Before we continue, I wanted to showcase something I found that is actually quite interesting. I downed myself when Ava went off crying because Maya died, and even in her despair, she came back to revive me. You know, maybe she's actually not that bad. I mean, maybe we should cut her some slack. I mean, guys, come on. It's my opinion. Eden 6, the final episode of the Eden prequel trilogy, needed to be invaded, and me and my Tediore weapons were ready to raid that womb. We have become womb raiders, baby. Just without triangle tits and shit. Sir Hammer Me Daddy Lock was being held captive, being used as a tool, and tortured with Minecraft song parodies. parodies. You guys really think that we're gonna let this slide? Hell no. I met up with Marcus and we got straight to business. This area held up nice to the likes of my Tediore weapons, and I actually didn't have too much of a trouble. Brick Super Smash Bros. Little Mac uppercutted an enemy off the map, and I am grateful for his presence. But now we must prepare our appendixes for the boss fight that has shook this entire YouTube channel to its core. The Prison Warden. The biggest white knight the internet has ever seen now rested before me, and I'm not gonna lie, just the thought of this fight made me diarrhea in my pants a little. And then I realized it was all for nothing, because my Tediore explosions literally pounded his face in, baby! My man was a goner, left to rot in the depths of a 1K Andy Twitch chat, and Hammer Me Daddy was saved. The estate went as usual. Wainwright gave me that nipple tantalizing display of pure chattery, and Bilby Eyelash, I feel sorry for her, because she was the latest to succumb to the horrors that is my reloads. So I want you guys to tell me, what's super hot and bad for your teeth? That's right, Ice-T's mixtapes. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the market for something that fire, but I guess the dinosaur that ate him was. I grabbed Ice-T and we pushed through the downed ship, and in no time Genevieve rested before us, and not a single worry crossed my mind. Genevieve should have called an elevator, because ding ding ding, she definitely was not on my level. She Thanos in due time, and all thanks to me, and only me, and with no help at all, and just me. And just only me. I almost had the last vault key piece, and this run was nearly complete. Django Unchained gave me one of those special spy glasses, you know, the one that they sold at the Scholastic Book Fair that could see the super cool invisible ink, and it was time to find the last piece. On my conquest to enlightenment, I actually ended up fighting a different version of Clifford the Big Red Dog that actually ended up being harder than the actual boss himself. I died like 5 times here, and to the actual boss, I literally killed him in a couple of throws. Though, at this point, I'm gonna have to say we're putting up our coat, boys, because things being easy pretty much ended here, and the rest of this video is strictly 18 plus. So if you don't like seeing a 23-year-old man get fucked by AI, please leave now. The fight with Aurelia was bad. She took me quite a few tries and really got me to my boiling point. I was running scarce on ammo for the gun that was absolutely raping her health bar, and that was about it. This poopy knockoff version of Frozen was giving me a hard time. After unloading her Alaskan pipelines all over my face, I was done getting pushed around by Frosty the Snow Bitch. I was eventually able to pelt her good with a bunch of Tediore reloads, and she was dead. But the dark realization that this game was getting stinkier and stinkier by the minute made me big sad. But I know that my dangerously good looks will be carrying me through the rest of this run. Until I got to Grave Ward, and yeah, I take that all back. I hate myself for doing these challenges, but god, they just hurt so damn good. My first try fighting Grave Ward, things were going great. I thought I had this right in the stinker, but nope, True Vault Hunter mode had to spite me, with badass enemies constantly spawning in this arena, those of which that I have never had to deal with during a Grave Ward fight. My only viable Tediore weapon that worked for this boss was the homing missile, and even then, I had to run around scavenging for every last bit of ammo. After 32 minutes, I was finally able to end off Grave Ward with only homing Tediore reloads. This run was nearly over, and I couldn't wait to pound in Tyrene's muff. Carnivora, the deadly Tonka truck, was taken down as usual. I'll let you guys know that I tried using my Tediore reloads on it, but it just wasn't possible, forcing me to take it down using other means. The Agonizer 9000 though, he reminded me of why I see my therapist Sean every Friday evening. Every single time I attempted to fight him, I threw the Tediore weapon that I knew exploded into smaller grenades, and it would have the grenades bounce right back at me and slap me on my forehead. Some would say that I'm a terrible gamer and don't learn from my mistakes, but I call it shut up, dumb. For some reason, I kept hitting myself with that Homer Simpson type beat, like I was a child riding the short bus, and god damn, this really wasn't helping in that fight. With time though, I was able to melt the Agonizer. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to tell you guys the bad news now. Our good friends Pain and Terror passed away to a very gruesome and tedious disease called 360 Tediore to the forehead. If I am ever on my deathbed and diagnosed with that disease, promise me that one of you will come to my hospital and put me out of my misery with the 360 YY quickscope off of a ladder. I want you guys to promise me that. Candace's Iridian tampon was obtained by the likes of me and my super cool explosive hipster weapons, and after I saw what Troy was doing to our homeworld, I had to stop him. After finishing off a couple of Thanoses with my explosive goodie bags, Ronnie Radke's scrotum was up on the menu, and boy was I glad. I destroyed him in most possibly 15 minutes tops. This fight is always easy, and reminds me of a Soulsborne fight with all of his flashy movesets, just with no finesse. pass whatsoever because it's so damn easy. Troy was dead, and this was it. The final stretch of the game was finally here. I made my way to Ghetto Pandora and met with the OG Vault Hunter. He shot his Vault Hunter load, that is a gun, all over my face, and I got to work getting the key to Necrodefeo's vault. A few Guardians challenged me to a good old-fashioned game of pigskin tossing, but there was no point because I was hitting touchdowns left and right. The enemies here had nothing against my ridiculously toned biceps brachii and perfectly angled 15-degree elbow flexes that propelled my Tediore weapons through the air, landing directly on their crit spots. My blue tree was completely maxed at this point, and not even Trant himself could handle the heat. Within minutes, he was a goner, and I teabagged the area where his body once laid, as a homage to Halo being released on PC. After Trant, I made my way to Tyrene. An assload of deaths were had up until this point, but after about 3 hours of gameplay, I was here and ready to finish this fight once and for all. I entered the Destroyer's Rift after seeing DeVito die, and it was payback time. Payback for taking my dad, and it was time to impress all the cute little YouTubers that comment on my videos, because they look absolutely stunning today. After one try with Tyrene, you know, the now hentai abomination that I'm sure someone out there has destroyed their meat to, I could already feel that this was going to be a hard fight, maybe even being impossible. On true Vault Hunter mode, I was running out of ammo before she even got to 25% health. Also, I was getting the Grave Ward treatment, and a ton of badass enemies were spawning and unloading their bowels all over me. I was getting pounded into oblivion. After 40 fucking minutes of trying without a shield, I absolutely couldn't take it anymore. This challenge from the very beginning was, after all, just beating the game with Only Tediore Reloads, so I had to compromise to finish this run. I went back to Sanctuary, purchased the cheapest shield money could buy, and got back to business. I was running out of ammo every time I attempted to fight her, and she would only get to 25% health with the ammo that I had. After countless tries, I formulated a plan. I needed to save each reload for when I knew for sure I would hit her, or for emergencies when I was downed. With the patience of a lion hunting its prey, I waited, only using my ammo sparsely and when it was needed. Eventually, and oh god eventually, when she was in her DPS state, I decided to bite the bullet and make a throw to finish her off. I cocked my medieval Senza French trebuchet arm back and threw the explosive. Holy shit! Senza did it again! With that gorgeous smile and ridiculously straight hairline, this has made history. There it was. Senza completed the final obstacle in his path, and everyone in the stadium chanted his name. Even Randy Pitchford came to his house and gave him a kiss on his cheek. Full homo, of course. If you enjoyed watching Senza's journey, be sure to slap that like button. And if you want to be a part of the crusade, hit that sub button and maybe even go follow him on Twitter and send him some feet pics. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and thank you to the channel members that have joined the DBG military and hopped on our bang bus to make this all possible. Have a good night, you beautiful people, and see you in the next video.